Hey guys, Marissa at KitchenTableStamper.com. Today I've got this So Glad We're Friends note card for you. This is part 4 of a 4-part series for paper and ink card class for February. Alright, I like to do this class online for those of you who are not local to the Chicago area. I can still inspire you and answer your questions and help you with your Stampin' Up! Needs from afar. But if you are local and you are interested in classes, don't hesitate to reach out. Marissa at KitchenTableStamper.com. You can always shop Stampin' Up! 24/7 on my web store, marisaalvarez.stampinup.net, even if you don't live in the Chicago area. And I'm always happy to make these videos and inspire you. Alright, so Glad We're Friends features a brand new stamp set and die set from the Occasions catalog. Actually, 1 stamp set and 2 die sets from the Occasions catalog. We're going to use the Incredible Like You stamp set today. I love this 15-piece photopolymer stamp set. It's got gorgeous greetings in a fun font that isn't too whimsical or immature. I think it's also pretty classic and it's not going to date itself very quickly. It's got some beautiful botanical images, and we're going to use the So Glad We're Friends greeting from here and some of the florals. Now we're also going to use the detailed birthday edgelets for this awesome tag and the rectangle stitched framelits. Now the biggest rectangle framelit here, I love this set for this piece in particular. I call that one Rectangle A, and Rectangle A is 5 1/8 by 3 13/16, and it's the perfect size for the front of a card or for the inside of a card when you want to put a panel inside your card so that it's easier to write a message on a dark color like Night of Navy. This largest stitched rectangle is a beautiful way to do that quick, but with some fun little detail. Alright, I also use my layering circles framelits for the circle greeting. My accessory items, I've got braided linen trim. Love this stuff. It's a nice little neutral. And I'm using the doilies. These are Stampin' Up! Colored doilies. They're from the annual catalog. You get 6 each of 4 different colored doilies. I love these dudes and have not used them enough. So we're going to use Old Olive one here. Grab that out. But there's also Coastal Cabana, Flirty Flamingo, and Grapefruit Grove. Gorgeous colors, especially with upcoming spring season. These are a beautiful accessory, and we're going to use that today. We're going to do a bit of punching with the Sprig Punch, and our Stampin' Pads for this project are Old Olive, Night of Navy, and Melon Mambo. Our consumable supplies for this project include a Night of Navy card base. It's 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 and scored at 4 1/4. Got a Whisper White panel that's cut with that largest stitched rectangle. Now you could get 2 of these, one for the inside and one for the outside. After the video I will probably put one on the inside and maybe even stamp a little bit of fun in there. Got a piece of vellum cardstock. This is about 2 by 3 inches. Scrap of paper here that's about 2, maybe 2 1/2 by 4 1/2 inches for cutting and fussy cutting our flowers. I've got a circle here cut with the layering circle dies. My tag is cut from the Twinkle Twinkle Designer Series paper, and I got about 9 inches of braided linen trim. Alright, let me clear this away, grab the Stampin' Pierce mat, and we'll get stamping. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is grab this 2 1/2 by 4 1/2, 2 by 4 1/2 scrap, and we're going to stamp some flowers to fussy cut. So we're going to need a scratch paper because we're going to ink up our image with Melon Mambo, stamp off, and then stamp the flower. We'll do that 3 times. Then we're going to come in with the details of the flower here, ink that up with Melon Mambo, and we're going to stamp them right on our solid flower. And that's going to give us this beautiful highlight and shadow image. Isn't that gorgeous? And so simple. With a two-step distinctive set like this, just get so much detail. All right, I'm gonna set those guys aside because we're gonna fussy cut those. Let's get our circle here, and So Glad We're Friends. We're gonna ink that one up with Old Olive and stamp that high of center on our circle. Let's make sure we got really good, strong ink coverage. I want a nice smooth sentiment. Gorgeous. All right, now onto our main panel here. We're going to stamp some leaves and sprigs. So I like to start with my darker section of the leaves. It's a two-step here again, and we're going to stamp off for the lighter section, so we'll need some scratch paper for that. Let's move these pieces aside for a minute. All right. Okay, what I did was I stamped my very first leaf in the upper left corner so that when I stamped in the light piece of it, it would not quite touch the corner. And then I'm going to go and make a little arrangement of 3 leaves here. And then down at the bottom, I'm going to stamp this dude twice. All right, then with the fill-in image, I'm going to ink up with Old Olive, stamp off, and then fill in these little leaves here. So you're going to get some shadows and highlights on your leaves. Okay. All right, let's clear this away for a minute here and bring in our sample, because now we're going to have to dry fit. We want to know how this sentiment is going to cover so that we can decide where we want to put our little sprigs. So just a little hint here. I went ahead with my tag and I cut it in half because it's a little bit shorter than what we need. And then I'm going to take some dry adhesive and put a bit on the cut ends of my tag. Now I'm going to bring it to my circle and adhere the tag right side and left side so that it looks like it's one continuous tag. Nobody will ever know that underneath there those ends don't meet. So there's our little tag. Now the same thing with my doily. I'm going to go through and cut my doily right in half because I want to stretch it just the tiniest bit. So I'm going to add some more dry adhesive here on the top and the bottom of my circle, and then I'm going to bring in my little doily. And what I want to do is just extend it the tiniest little bit. We're hiding where it's cut, where the ends are, underneath that tag. Nobody's ever going to know that we cut this little doily, but we just made it a little bit wider, like maybe 1/4 of an inch wider. Gotta adjust my tag just a little bit. We want to make sure that our sentiment does not read uphill or downhill. That's really important here, and the ends of this tag will determine that. All right, I think that looks pretty level. I like where we're going there. And while we're making the tag, we might as well add our braided linen and tie a bow on the end here. I love the nice natural texture that that brings. And we can trim the excess. All right, so there's our tag all built out, looking pretty cool. And what we're gonna do next is place our little sprigs. Now that we can kind of see where they're gonna peek out, we're gonna place our sprigs. So I like to do it backwards. I like to decide where the flowers on the little sprigs are gonna be. So it's gonna be different depending on each time. I really think that each one's gonna be individual. So you wanna stamp in your little Night of Navy buds, and I got 2 there, and I'm gonna put one kind of up here, like that, and then down here I'm gonna put 2. So I'm gonna have one, let's see, gotta see where it's really gonna sit. Have one here, and then I also want one kind of in between here. All right, now that I've got my Night of Navy buds where I want them, I can go back with a little stem and help them to look like they're not floating in space. We'll just attach them to the bouquet by stamping the stems in Old Olive. My goodness, I just made a thumbprint. You know what you do when you make thumbprints? You add more leaves. I cannot believe I did that. Yes, I can. I do it all the time. No worries. See, there's no mistakes in stamping. Just opportunities to add more leaves. All right. Pay no attention to the thumbprint on the bottom of my card. One more little stem to do. No thumbprint this time. All right, there it is. Now, I'm going to punch myself a couple of sprigs here. 1. We're gonna do 2 sets of these. 2. All right, let me clear away the ink pads, and I'm gonna fussy cut these flowers that we stamped earlier. So all I'm gonna do is, with my scissor well supported bottom blade, I'm gonna open and close my dominant hand on the scissor, and then I'm going to use my non-dominant hand to just roll the paper into the blade. See how easy that is? If you let your non-dominant hand do the work and guide the paper into the scissor, you're gonna get quick, easy, fussy cuts with smooth lines. All right, I'm gonna do the other 2. We'll meet right back here and assemble this card. Okay guys, so we're back. I've fussy cut my flowers, and we're going to put this card together. So dry adhesive, and we're gonna adhere our Whisper White background panel center to the front of our Night of Navy card. And then we'll need some dimensionals, and I want some regular size ones for this. I wonder if I have any. I don't see any regular dimensionals in my bucket, but there is this nice big edge. We're gonna use that. All right, so I'm gonna take a couple that are left here, and I'm going to put them all along the back of here. Okay, I've got my dimensionals all sticky. Let's get our sample in here. So then I'm going to add this guy to the right of center, and making sure that my greeting reads level with the bottom. And the next thing that we want to do is grab these little vellum sprigs, and I'm going to just throw a little dimensional right on the back of that and tuck it behind. I don't want that dimensional to show, so I'm going to really kind of tuck it in. And then same with the second one, we're going to tuck it in underneath here. So I'm just going to lift and kind of pop that one in underneath. And grab a little dimensional and secure it down. So there's our sentiment tag, then our flowers. I'm gonna grab a little multi-purpose liquid glue at the bottom of the flower, and I'm gonna adhere one kind of at a fun angle at the bottom of our sentiment. And I'll adhere another one, kind of at a fun angle at the top of our sentiment. Now this third little dude is going to get put on with some dimensionals. So we'll do 2 minis and pop that guy right up underneath our vellum. And again, kind of a fun angle. There we go. How quick and easy is that? So glad we're friends. All right, if you've got any questions about the project, if there's anything I can do to help you stay crafty, email me, marissa@kitchentablestamper.com. And you can order Stampin' Up! Supplies 24/7 at marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. Thanks for watching.